you on with the talking about what were you saying?
About how you were bleaching your asshole and sitting outside to let the sun in.
Yes. We'll finish the conversation later. No, I'm really not doing that. That whole I feel like I always lean towards sexual topics, which I really don't try to, but maybe I'm like a deviant or something. But I don't understand having that done. That
I
seems
don't
like a
either.
lot. Like, okay, as a
Yeah.
woman, I'll get lasered. I'll,
Sure,
I'll
sure.
do all the painful things. I'll wax. I'll do all the
But
options, but I don't want to put like a chemical on my
I know, on my
butthole
asshole,
to make
bleach.
it like a
Well,
light
unless you're a
color,
porn star. I mean, if you're a porn star, sure, because
which I'm not.
that shit's on screen all day. But no, I don't get it either. That seems plus having it done. Like, here, can you put this chemical on my bunghole for me? No,
That's another thing. Last week I had my
no.
annual physical. I'm sorry
Oh
if there are any
God.
men listening, just fast forward,
It's
if this makes you
torture. No,
uncomfortable.
they need to
It's
know how awful it is. They need to know.
I mean, it's not fun. It's
No.
not fun because, but what I'm saying about that is like getting it bleached, if I ever were to, which again, I have
Yeah.
there are other things that I want to do that are very
Right.
vain.
I'd
Like
put
I want to
money
get a
back
boob
towards something
job.
else. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, like
Something
I'd be like,
I'll
take it
save
out of
up.
the butthole whitening fund and let's put it in the boobie fund.
So
And
I'll put it in
that
my
should
tummy
tell
tuck
you
fund.
how
Yeah.
far where I'm at in my life versus where I used to be.
I like it.
Okay, I am going to really try my best, Kelly, not to interrupt you. I have a hard
Why?
time
It makes it
editing.
so much fun. Oh, because of
Shocker.
your editing.
Well, I
Yes.
just don't listen. I just don't want me to talk over you. So you're going to take the wheel on this because this is your story. But when we talk over each other, sometimes we get both really excited.
We
And
do.
I have such a
And
problem
it's
with this. I
hard.
jump in and then it sounds
But that
muffled
makes
and
it
it's like,
more
what did
fun.
either one of us say?
I know. Do
Yeah.
you are you
But
able
I'm
to
still going to jump in.
okay. Are you able to get both voice recordings separate?
Kelly,
It's
I
more
don't know how to
editing.
do that.
Oh, okay. It's more complicated
Do you
editing,
know how
but
to do that?
yeah.
I want you to
I
teach
don't
me everything
okay,
you
I'll see.
know.
I'll see if there's a way. I
Look
don't
at
know
her.
if there's
She's
a way to.
terrified. She's like,
Oh
I
no.
can't teach you.
No.
You couldn't get the microphone.
No,
So
it makes it easy.
sorry to start today's episode of Sadie Has No Friends on such a crass note. But
Yes.
that's
We
just
are
kind of
not those
what we were
types.
laughing about. Yeah, we totally are those types. I love going there. But today we're talking about murder. We're going to switch from sexy time to murdery time. Wah, wah. One, like, really thumbs up, 5 stars. The other one, like, wah, wah. And
Some
so,
people think it's sexy, but I don't.
yeah, like, I was reading, the Menendez brothers might be getting
Uh
out. They're saying the odds of them getting out of jail are very good, Kelly.
really? Really?
That's what they're saying. And I bring that up because one of them is married and
What?
he's going to like first
Have
of all, one of
babies?
them got married in prison and then got a divorce. That was the one, Lyle. He's the one. Every episode I say I'm not going to talk about P Diddy, I'm not going to talk about the Menendez brothers. I'm not going to There's like a list and then I make the rule every
Yeah,
time.
they bring you
But what I'm
back
saying
in.
is yeah, both brothers have been married while in prison, and one of them is still married. She lives in Nevada, and that's the plan. He's going to move to Nevada if he gets out of prison.
Well, and what's
The
wrong with
more you
these
know.
oh, what's wrong with these people that are marrying them? I mean, really?
But like you were saying, some people get off on
Yeah,
that kind of
that's
stuff,
true.
which is
That's true.
really, really weird.
It's
I don't
super
know if
weird.
that's the case with this, but like, the people that would send love letters to Charles Manson and that
Uh-huh.
was like, what are you doing? That's weird, but some people get off that way. That's their kink. I'm
It's
glad it's not
true.
my kink,
Mm-mm.
but that is some
Mm-mm.
people's kink.
You're
Anyway,
right.
after we've
Ugh.
talked about all of those things, Kelly, what do you have today for us on Murder Monday? And I
Okay.
want to remind everybody before she gets started that you have your own podcast. It's called ODFM. It's across all platforms. And this is what Kelly does. Kelly talks murder. I like to talk about all different kinds of things like sex and parenting and but this girl just does deep dives into murders and I eat up. It's so good. And so she's got a lot of episodes. She has a wonderful partner on her show and you should definitely check it out. And when you do subscribe and leave a comment on what kind of murder you want to hear about, is start like referring to you as Detective Kelly.
I like it. I like it.
Okay,
It
I'm
can't
gonna
be
check.
official. I like it. I want to be the
What do you
detective.
no? Okay,
You know,
anyway,
goes
let's
around.
jump right in. We've kept the
All right.
people waiting long enough.
All right. Well, we are going overseas because I feel like we are not the only country that has murder, but we have most of them. But this one is overseas. And have you ever heard of a Devon? Devan. Devan.
Like as a name, like that's somebody's
No,
name, Divan.
no,
No, what is it?
it's a type of bed. So overseas,
It's a type
we
of
would
bed.
yes, a Devan.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that doesn't sound very
It's
sexy.
it's sexier than like box spring. Get on the box spring.
Meet me. Yeah, nobody says that though. They just say bed. They don't say meet me on the Serta memory foam in 10 minutes. I'm sorry. Okay, I said I wasn't going to interrupt you, and then I did. And go, Kelly. I've never heard of that
Okay.
before.
Okay. So a divan is a type of bed frame, kind of like we would call it like a storage bed because it's got like storage drawers instead of a box spring underneath. So it's a platform
Okay,
bed. So since the word
got
comes
it.
up some, I figured it would be something to describe so that you would
I'm
know
glad you
exactly
told
what
us.
I'm
So, what
talking
is it?
about.
What is it
Divan.
called?
A divan. It's spelled Divan, but divan is how it's pronounced.
It's kind of
It's the
cool. It's like Davan, like but sexy. Like meet me in Davan. But if you're talking about this lame, weird bed, then I'm into it. But continue
Yeah,
on.
yeah. We're in London on August 10th of 2011. So this actually wasn't all that long ago.
Oh, okay.
It's late afternoon and the staff at the Radisson Edwardian Hotel, they're concerned when 3 of their fellow staffers are over an hour late for their shift. Were they out partying the night before? I don't know. But they'd all been trying all these staff members' cell phones, but none of the trio is picking up. And it's out of character for any one of these employees, and certainly for all 3 at once not to show up for their shift. So police are
Okay.
notified. And when I think of English police, I think of them like with their cute little hats and stuff because they seem so, and their batons,
You know, they're
billy
called
clubs.
constables. They're called
Oh, yes.
constables there. And so if again, lingo, now you know bed and now you know police, they're called call the
Constables.
constable every time I see that on the news or on the news. Every time I see that on a movie, I'm just like, "Oh, we're so different."
They need to call the
Yeah.
constable. So police soon arrive and look into this odd missing persons case of these 3 missing from the hotel. The missing employees live in staff housing behind the Radisson Hotel. Had I known you could get a job at a hotel and they actually give you room and board, or at least room, I'd have been doing this long
I
ago.
didn't know that.
I didn't either. This is like a fancy one at the Radisson. I probably haven't even stayed at
I
one.
don't know. Is the Radisson fancy? I mean, I'm not like bougie or anything. Isn't it
It's
on? I mean, is it fancy?
no, this one it was. This one was. It was kind of
Okay,
fancy.
this one was like a very nice. Okay, got it.
It was a very nice hotel. So the apartments the staff lived in, they're pretty exclusive and they're only offered to like the cream of the crop of employees. Yeah, it's hard to get in one of these. So obviously these 3 employees that are missing are cream of the crop. They're great ones. They're not going to be not working. So police make their way to the apartment. They enter into this unit with a horrible bloody crime scene. As in
Mm,
immediately as soon as they swing the door open in the apartment, blood is visible everywhere. It's like a freaking bloodbath. Like somebody sprayed it just everywhere. So directly
You're
in the
really
living
painting a picture today, Kelly. Thank you,
it's like pools of
detective.
blood.
Oh my God,
I
I'm
want you
becoming
to
ill.
know.
Okay, you're painting the picture. It's
All right,
pretty
good.
rough.
It's bad. It's bad. So they get in the living room and they see the body of a woman. She's fully clothed. She's laying on the floor on her side and she's been stabbed 22 times. Her face is covered with the
Ooh,
pillow.
no.
Yeah, I mean, she's
Oh.
dead. So past the
Here's
woman's
what I can I
body.
just
Yeah, say something.
Here's
What?
what I'm gonna jump in and say, even though I said I'm not gonna jump in, but I'm gonna jump in and say that I have seen that the reason why some people will cover the face is they don't wanna look in the eyes of the person
Yes.
because it's a
Yeah.
personal connection and they feel that guilt. Now, maybe that's what happened with this guy.
Past the woman's body, there's a trail of blood that led back into a back bedroom. So they follow this blood trail into the back bedroom. They discover the body of a man, and he's nude. He's lying on his back on a bed with his knees bent. I'm not sure if it was a Serta. It might have been a
Remember he
divan.
found the Okay, that's not even where I went. Where I went was what do you mean? His legs were bent. How were
His
they
knees were,
bent?
yeah, like
Like, was
his
he in
knees,
frog pose when you're getting lasered?
right?
That's the
No.
worst.
I have
Oh
not had to do
god.
that. This is why I will never get lasered because I do not want to frog pose in
Oh,
in front
yeah,
of
they're like,
somebody's.
"Get in a frog" you don't even know this person, and you're trying to make small talk like, "Wow, it's good."
Oh,
Really fall
so
that fall coming in the air. Oh god, it's awful, I hate going.
I
Anyway,
hate
but
it
that's not
so
what this
bad.
these poor
No,
people were murdered, and I'm going off about
I know.
getting whacked. Go ahead, go
Oh,
ahead.
yeah, I get it, I get it. So he's on his back with his knees bent. So he's laying on his back, his knees are
Okay.
bent, somehow staying
So
up and
he is
not
in frog
falling to the side.
position, yeah.
He's yeah. He also been stabbed only twice compared to the 22 of the other, but both stab wounds are
Wow.
directly into his heart. So it's obvious, like, you're gonna die.
Yeah.
So the two
Yeah,
bodies are
geez.
identified yeah. The two bodies are identified as 20-year-old Alice Adams and 20-year-old Tibor Voss. So these are two of the three missing employees. The scene is brutal,
Oh,
like I've said. Yeah, this is two of them, but there's still where's the other one? So the scene's terrible. The deaths are super violent. So police feel the killings are very personal, kind of like you said, with the pillow on someone's faces. Usually they don't
yeah.
want to look at what they've done,
They
that
don't
type of
wanna
thing.
look at them because they feel guilty if they,
Hmm.
you know
Yeah,
I know
they
I
knew
would
him.
be given the eyes like, "Please, no."
So they find there's no sign of forced entry, and it didn't look like the place was ransacked like it would be in a burglary. It was also apparent there had been a
Okay.
party the night before at the apartment. Alcohol and drugs were found around the place, along with empty bottles and glasses.
Mm.
So they knew some sort of celebrations going on. But because of the pillow covering Alice's face, the woman, and the frenzy of stab wounds covering her body, police think she's probably the focus of the attack. Somebody was very passionate about
I mean,
killing her.
22 stab wounds, don't they call that isn't there a
Over,
special it's overkill,
yeah,
right?
overkill. Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah,
someone was
it's
so angry with her, and like
and
you
not so
said,
much the dude.
right? No, no, he was only killed, like stabbed twice and done. Although he's nude, don't know why that was yet.
I don't wanna die naked.
I know
Like,
being found that
I'll be
way.
in a weird ball, and there'd be, like, this weird fat area, and everyone would take pictures, of, like, the crime
I
scene, and
know.
I'd have when you lay on your side dead, and it's just like,
Oh,
blah,
everything slides
and you're just
down.
like,
Yeah.
"Well, this is horrific. I don't wanna
Well,
be like that. Imma need somebody to just
mm-mm.
use a broom and push me on my back."
And
Sorry.
the
Back
liquids
to
that
the
come
murder.
out. No. Yeah. Yeah, so they said, yeah, someone's very angry with her. They covered her face because of guilt, not wanting to see the victim staring back at them. So as for Tibor, the one who was killed in the bed, his killing isn't any less disturbing, even though he wasn't maimed quite as badly because of the lack of blood pooling around the divan bed he's on. It's apparent he hadn't been killed there. So, but there,
Oh.
yeah, so he'd been
They
posed there
moved
afterwards.
him?
Yeah.
What?
But
Okay.
I know. But there was significant blood on the couch out in the living room. So police think that's probably where he was attacked. And then also, marks along the lower part of his back showed that he'd been dragged across an abrasive surface, like carpeting. Like he got carpet burns on his
Mhm.
back. They also noticed,
That's not
I know,
even the worst of his problems,
no,
detective.
no, you're
I
right.
mean, he's
And
got a lot of bigger things to deal with than getting rug burn.
so they also noticed that the blood that was on Tibor was actually diluted a little bit, indicating that his body had actually been cleaned off, maybe even bathed. And then he was put on the bed and posed. Yeah, weird. So weirder still was that though the victims had been viciously attacked, there weren't defensive marks on them. It wasn't like their hands were cut. They weren't,
Oh. So they
yeah,
were
they
maybe
weren't fighting
sleeping?
back. Yeah. So police wonder, were
So
they
I
like
wanna
too
go.
intoxicated? Yeah, no shit. Don't wake me. Just
Oh,
put me
yeah,
out.
being too like,
Hmm.
if they were super intoxicated or if they had been
Yep.
taking some sort of drug, then they
Yeah.
might have been
They
just
might have been too
completely
out
out
of
of it,
it.
which I guess isn't that the ideal way to go? Like, you
Totally.
don't
I
even
wouldn't know
know.
what's
You
coming.
the last thing
Put me out
you're
fast.
doing a Jaeger bomb and smoking a joint, and then you're done, and you didn't even know it.
I'm
You were
out.
enjoying yourself, and then and I don't know, I kind of feel like that sounds nice.
I agree. I'd rather
Starting
go
to think
that
about
way.
death more.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe not being stabbed 22 times because I might wake up one time in those. So I don't know. But
Yeah, I think that was definitely overkill to where the other guy, it was just a weird thing that posed him. And I
and
hate to say censor, not that we don't say horrible things on
yeah,
these murder stories because we do, but the way that they pose the guy on the it makes me wonder like, uh-oh, his knee, he
yeah,
was in the frog position
mhm,
on his back. That's
yeah,
bad news. That is some bad
yeah,
stuff is gonna happen.
yeah.
Okay, now let's lead into it.
All right. So police are wondering, like, yes, were they too intoxicated or were the attacks so quick they couldn't react because they were intoxicated? Several bloody knives were found in the apartment. So they had the weapons. And of course, they kept those to test for DNA. So when police are studying the scene, they're kind of get a revelation while they're there. So there's so much blood all over the apartment, as in pools of it you couldn't help but walk through. They're like, how did the killer
Uh-oh.
right? How did the killer exit
Blood.
the apartment
Oh,
without so much as a speck of blood tracking outside the apartment door? Like it literally pools up to the edge of the apartment door, but there's none that goes past it. So they're stumped. Police are like, who would kill these two and
where did
why?
he go?
And where did
And are
the
they do
killer
they
go?
assume at point now, do they assume at this point the 3rd employee who is missing is involved in this, whether they're dead or alive? Or are they still kinda just like, they may have that person may have just gone off on their own thing?
Yeah, they're kind
But
of
I guess
wondering,
that
could
would be that'd be
yeah,
pretty
it'd be weird.
remarkable.
Yeah. They
Yeah.
do kind of wonder, is he involved? Because he's not there and they're really good friends
Yeah.
with each other. So what's happening? So Tibor, the man that was found dead on the bed, been raised in Hungary with rather humble beginnings, but he had, of course, dreams for a successful future where he could help his family. So he's this accomplished
Yeah.
musician, really great at piano. And when he was just 15, his father died unexpectedly. So Tibor was thrown into the position of being the man of the
Oh my
house. I know. So he's willing to do whatever it takes to improve the family.
T-Borg!
Tibor is so sweet. So he's trying to help his struggling family. So in 2008, when he's like 17 or 18,
Uh-oh, you froze. You froze, Kelly.
turned down.
Kelly,
He's
take a
not the type
breather.
to get to reapply. Oh,
Oh, hang
oh,
on, hang on, hang on. You froze, you froze.
okay.
And
Okay.
could you I'm
Which part was
sorry, my
last you
mom
hear?
called me twice, and I'm just like, "God
Oh, go ahead.
dang."
Yeah, go take it.
Um, no, I'm fine. I just
Hopefully.
wanted to text her like, "Are you is everything okay? Because 'Cause I'm doing
Mm-hmm.
this." And she's
That's what
like,
I'd
"No,
be
it's
worried
fine."
about.
But she called me
Oh,
twice in a row, and I'll
yeah.
answer it because 'cause I'll be like, "Oh my god, like, is everybody okay? Is someone in the
Yeah.
hospital? And she'll be like, Joanne Fabric has 10% off. And I'll be like,
Thanks, Mom.
hi, I thought this was an emergency. So if we can just go back to
Okay,
before
where?
you froze up on the camera, you were at the point where
Let's see.
they had found the guy.
Okay.
He just start, yeah,
All right. So, yeah, the police want to look into the people and who they are and why they would get killed. So they were talking about Tibor, where he has these dreams. He's only 17 or
yes.
18 when he goes to university, but he's turned down. But he decides to reapply the next year, and he decides to go to London to find lucrative work, more lucrative than's available in Hungary. So this is when he gets a job at the Radisson Edwardian Hotel. And this hotel is really close to Heathrow Airport. So bustling environment. And Tibor is a
Perfect.
natural for this. He's outgoing, he's a receptionist and host, and he loves the job. And he's making
Now,
friends. Oh, yeah. What?
well, no, I'm breaking into. Be sure to watch the full videos of the episodes on the YouTube channel because I post pictures. I say that every week. But if you're like me and you're voyeuristic and you like to actually see what we're
Who
talking
these people
about,
are.
then you can just full episodes and watch it, and I'll put up the pictures as well. So you'll see the info while we're talking about it. But go ahead, Kelly.
Absolutely. And that's good to see because, yeah, Tibor's a great looking kid and he makes friends quickly. Everyone who meets him likes him. And one of his good friends is the other victim, Alice Adams. So, Alice, she's a local to London. She'd grown up in a nearby town and she's also a receptionist host there. And she'd only been working
Okay.
there a few weeks. So, as she started working there, she hits it off with Tibor. And she's also a musician. So together they bond over their love of music. And Alice is fucking hilarious from what I hear. She was hilarious and fun and friendly.
Mm,
Everyone loves her.
okay.
Even like the guests love her. So she's working the hotel. She's trying to save up money for an upcoming family trip to Hawaii.
Oh,
I know.
this
So
makes it even sadder.
doesn't it? She had plans to go with her
Yeah.
whole family to go celebrate in luxury. But the pair, Tibor and Alice, they did have something to celebrate Alice's upcoming trip. And Tibor had reapplied to the university in Hungary and had been accepted. So excited. He was due to leave for school on August
Oh,
30th of 2011. So this is just 3 weeks before his planned departure and just before Alice was scheduled to leave for Hawaii that they were killed.
okay.
So police talk to their
Mm.
coworkers. They find out, yeah, there was a big party at the apartment the night before, and that many of the other staff had been there as well. And the party was there to celebrate Tibor's getting into college. Everyone had been drinking. Alice played the guitar. There was some singing, which is always uncomfortable and weird, I think, at
Oh
parties.
God, I hate
But
that. And I'm gonna be honest, I don't want to even do that. I don't want to watch your kid play guitar. I
I'm
want to
with you.
continue on with my adult conversation about anal
I am with you. It's so awkward.
bleeding.
And
You.
then everyone sits there
There's
silently and claps. Yeah, so that happened at this party too.
it's so, that's a horrible thing to say, but it's so true. If someone's like, "Hey, I brought my guitar," I'm always like, "Oh, Jesus, here we
Let me
go."
go get my bugle.
I think Eeyore was hooking up with the other girl. They got stabbed a bunch.
Mhm.
Sad. I forgot her name, but it's probably
Alice.
beautiful.
Yeah,
And
Alice and
then
Tibor
Alice, and I think maybe they were like, "Woo, let's get together because why not? We've been drinking."
were
And
hot
I think that maybe roommate had a thing for Igor.
for
And
Tibor.
that's what I think
Yes. But
happened.
we
Look
should
at this.
just
I
call
feel
him
like I
Igor.
should.
You're right. You're probably right. You're very close.
Okay.
Yeah, in
Okay.
fact, you're
Let's hear
really
this. Let's
close.
hear the actual story after my guess.
Okay, I think it's great. So Attila, he's the manager at the hotel they all work at, and he's also the other missing employee. So the search is on for him,
Hmm.
but there's no sign of
Oh
him.
wait,
Like
Attila's a dude. I'm
a
sorry.
dude.
Attila's a dude? I
Sometimes
thought it
that
was a
doesn't matter.
girl.
Sometimes it
It
doesn't
doesn't
matter.
matter, but
So you were on the right
should I
track,
keep my
actually.
theory?
Keep your
Okay, I'm gonna
theory.
keep my
Keep your
theory, but we're
theory.
gonna switch it from a vulva to a penis. Go ahead.
Yes. Perfect. So no one had seen him after the party. Calls to his cell phone have been unanswered, and police are able, though, to try to get pings off of his phone, seeing that it's still on and it's near the hotel, but they can't find him or locate Attila. Like, they're looking all over the grounds and they can't find him, but his phone's there somewhere. So they know at least they'll find his phone. So
Yeah.
coworkers describe Attila to police. He's friendly, he's likable, everyone gets along with him. He's from Hungary, like Tibor, but his home life hadn't provided much love. So he'd been terribly abused. He was raised by his grandparents.
Oh,
I know. And his
that's God.
decision
He overcame. Oh,
so much. I know. So his decision to leave Hungary was due mainly to him being gay, and that was not accepted there. This is Attila. Attila traveled initially to the United States, and he did fairly well here. He gained invaluable experience in the hospitality line of work, and he was accepted for being gay,
okay.
not being treated poorly like he had been in Hungary. So it was a relief, and life was going well. So he decides at that point to move to
Great.
London after he'd visited there, and he loved it. So he got a job at the Radisson, and he was so good at it that he climbed the work ladder quickly and became manager. So
Okay.
he was such a model employee that the hotel gave him one of those coveted and exclusive staff apartments to live in, and these were rarely offered up. So he got this
Ooh,
accommodation, which is such a win. Yeah. So when Tibor came
that's
on
amazing.
staff, begins working for Attila, the two become fast friends, due in part to they're both from Hungary. And Attila took Tibor under his wing. He teaches him all the ins and outs of the hotel industry. And Tibor had been living in this shitty, bleak flat in London. So Attila liked Tibor a lot. So he's like, come live in my apartment. I've got 3 rooms. Just come live in my apartment. I got this sweet ass room.
Oh,
And
that
Attila had
sends a
also,
message, you know?
it sends a message. I mean, you can come live with me.
Do you think
Here's
it
the
sends a
key.
message?
I think it kind of does. Come live with me. Either that or between dudes, maybe they're like, yeah, come live with me. I see you live in Shitville.
I mean, I'm just saying that's like a huge that's just that's
That's a
just
big
a
thing.
huge jump.
It
Um,
is.
you know, like having your own space and having your own area to be and not having to pay anything, so you're not worried about paying the rent, and then
Right.
inviting someone to
And
live
then
with you.
that's
You don't have
huge.
to do that.
Right. You
Like,
could have had this 3-bedroom
financially have
apartment to
to do it, it
yourself.
sounds like.
Absolutely. Yeah.
All by
So,
yourself, but you're inviting uh-oh, I see some
mm,
sexy tension.
yeah, you're right. You're right. There's some sexy tension. So, Attila, this manager, he had also shown
Okay.
Alice the ropes when she started working at the Redison as well. So, all 3 of them become really great friends. They're always hanging around with each other. And since coworkers had placed Attila at the crime scene, like he had been there that night at the party, Attila had been too. And because he's not around now, police are
Okay.
wondering, like you said, does he have anything to do with the deaths of his 2 good friends? But they need to dig for
Yeah,
any
where did
clue
he
of,
go?
and yeah, and why would he do it? So they're digging for this motive. So Tilla's still missing. Police have no clue where to find him. They decide to focus on other information they can dig up in the meantime. So they pull Alice's cell phone records and they think she may have been the original target because of how brutally she was killed, right? So there was a discovery of texts. So they think she's the original person that was being targeted. And they find a series of texts, and they were between her and her former boyfriend, and they were done in the wee hours of the morning after the party. They had been texting. Alice and
And
Tad, the name
listen,
of
if
the
you're texting with your is it the ex again? Is it the ex
ex,
or the current?
it's the ex,
Okay. If you are
ex.
texting while drunk after a party to your ex, it's either like sexting or it is like
Mhm.
fighting like crazy. Which one was
Yep,
it?
yep. This boyfriend, they had been together for a good amount of time, but they'd only recently just broken up. So, like you said, there's tensions are high. He had
Okay.
moved away to go to college, And even though they had broken up, they're still in the early stages of the breakup, and they seem to still be kind of considering being back together. So Alice had texted that she was in bed with her manager and that Tibor was in the bathroom throwing up. So, of course, the ex-boyfriend probably isn't going to be so thrilled to hear that she's sleeping with another man, albeit a gay one. Remember,
I don't know. It
Attila's gay.
sounds like T-Borg isn't like being turned on if he's in the bathroom vomiting. She's
like,
doing a terrible job.
Right. How sexy is this? I'm in bed, but my friend is out there puking.
He saw me nude and he's vomiting ever since. It's been 20 minutes, so I thought I'd text you.
I'm bored and naked. So they wonder if Alice is trying to make him jealous, and maybe it resulted in Tad driving down there to confront them. So, in fact, when they do labs so they do labs from samples taken off of Alice's body, and it did show DNA from both men, Tibor and Attila, all over her. So, yeah, right? So police are convinced that 3 of them, they've gotten all randy. Yeah. Yeah. What?
Oh my God. Orgy.
Mm-hmm. Orgy.
Was this an orgy?
It was like a threesome. Yep.
Orgy.
They'd gotten into a threesome. Orgy at the party. So police, they track down.
What restaurant? Oh, it's the Hyatt or whatever? Everybody's working at the Hyatt and they're having orgies. Oh my God.
They're like, our crew is the happiest crew you've ever seen.
They all get along great, it sounds like. What a team. Okay.
So, yeah, they track down Tad because they're like, Tad's got to see something. He's got to know something. So they track him down. They want to see if he has an alibi. He is able to provide one, but they're still not kind of convinced on him. So they get a search warrant and search his home and his clothes and his shoes for any blood, because their killer couldn't have gotten away without blood getting on him with this freaking crime scene. However, they don't find any hint of blood on any of Tad's belongings. Nothing. So then they catch up. I know. So it's not Tad. So then they catch up to another.
And we still haven't found other guy. Haven't found other guy.
Okay. Attila's gone missing. In the wind. And they don't know how he could have gotten out because it's so bloody. So they catch up to another coworker. The coworker gives them something to look into. So they show police a Facebook post from Attila Bond that had been posted at about 7:30 the morning after the murders. And the post said, I'd like to wake up from this nightmare. So staff know him. Yeah. What the fuck does that mean? So staff who knows him well said this is totally out of his usual upbeat character. He's not the type to post all those negative, vague posts that people like to do to get attention. He's not that type. So they're
like, this is just incredibly out of his character.
Yeah. Like, what is he talking about? So they're also told about a rumor circulating at the hotel. We love rumors. That Attila had a crush on Tibor, like you said.
Oh,
snap. Attila loves Tibor.
Some people say waste my time watching these shows, but I don't know. If I'm an honorary detective, I call my sister, who's a police officer, and be like, who do I get a hold of in the detective area? Because I'm an honorary detective.
Yes. Yep. Well, you can pull rank over your sister now.
Sounds like, what is the name? I gotta write these down because they're such weird names.
They are Attila. So Attila was in love with Tibor. Mm-hmm. Tibor is Tibor. Tibor. But Tibor.
No, I'm going to call him T-Borg or something like that.
Or Igor. You said that one too. That was good. So Tibor's not gay, and Attila's super aware of that. But it doesn't seem to dash his hopes of striking up a romance with him. So he's like, I don't care that you say you're not gay. I'm going to make you gay. But coworkers go on to say, I know, right? So coworkers, they go on to tell police that actually Attila seemed to be really obsessed with Tibor, like a little much more than just a crush. So the time leading up to, the attack, the men's friendship had become strained because of it. Attila felt like Tibor and Alice are getting so close that they're starting to leave him out of their activities.
And they're all participating in these threesomes.
Yes,
together?
well, they
Okay,
think
so
so
they're
that night.
together, but they're feeling like, which they say that happens a lot of times in threesomes
True.
where somebody is left.
Somebody gets
I'm
jealous.
never going to sell this podcast to like a family dentistry or anything like that because I have to
It's my
always
fault.
go here. But so this would make complete sense because
Mhm.
they're all hooking up.
So there's this one day that Tibor had planned a staff photo, and he actually didn't even tell Attila. And Attila's the manager. So when Attila saw it later, he's like, "So hurt, why would you leave me out of this? We're best friends."
Yeah.
So Attila, or
Well,
no,
now I have to
Alice,
stab you a
I
bunch.
know I have to stab you. So Alice and Tibor grew closer and start leaving Attila out, and Attila becomes more jealous, and coworkers know he's worried that the pair are striking up a romance without him. So yes,
Mhm.
there's like a huge trio of problems going on here, triangle, but there's still no trace of Attila at this point. So on hotel and
Can I just
apartments,
say
yeah, what?
can I just say I wish that I worked at this place
Oh,
because the
juicy
Monday
gossip.
gossip would I'd be like, "Give it to me, give it to me, give it to
Oh,
me. What'd you do this weekend?" I went to Home
oh,
Depot and looked at plans. What threesome? Oh my god, tell me
oh.
everything.
Mhm.
Okay,
So,
sorry.
like it's in England and they've got surveillance videos everywhere. So on
Yeah.
hotel and apartment surveillance video, there's no sightings of Attila after the party. So police are like, had he jumped
Where
out a
did he
window?
go?
Did he go down a fire escape? Maybe he'd stashed a clean pair of shoes outside the apartment so he wouldn't track blood outside the door. It wouldn't explain how he avoided cameras or being sighted. He would have been seen somewhere. So they look for a crawl space in the ceiling. They go back to the apartment. They're like, he's got to be here. There's no way he left without being seen. So they look through the
And
ceiling of the apartment.
what an
Yeah.
eerie feeling to be a police officer and you're like, "We're pretty sure he's here somewhere just hiding and wait." Just stabbed a woman 22 times, just killed a guy, and
Where is
he
he
might still
at?
be here.
Oh, it'd be so creepy. So they're looking in the ceiling. They're checking under floorboards even. They're kind of taking this place apart, but they don't find anything. And it's been 2 days and there's still no sign of him. So
Oh, wow.
it's bad. So they call in forensic teams and they're like, "Can you guys come back, have another look around? Maybe there's more evidence we overlooked." So they do. And when they return, they notice that something is different. A bottle of alcohol had been moved and some medications were also in a different spot than when they had left. Like they had taken pictures of everything and they check and they're like, shit has been moved in this crime
He's
scene.
living in the
He's
attic, isn't he?
there. Yeah. Well, they're worried that some asshat had broken in and messed with the crime scene after hearing about the incident, like a looky loo. But
Yeah. Yeah.
then they notice while they're there that the door to the back bedroom is closed, and they know they had left it open following their usual procedures. So they attempt to open the door, but something
Oh.
heavy is blocking it. So creepy. So eventually they force it open. They find a bed had been pushed up against the door. So they get
Oh.
in, they finally push their way in, and they find a nude man laying face down on the bed that Tibor had died on.
And
He's
he's
laying,
dead.
he's not dead. They check him. They think that
Er, did he
uh-huh.
try? He tried. Okay, so he wasn't just laying in T-Borg's bed trying to just like,
Right,
you know,
right. Yeah, no, be
yeah.
sexual with the bed somehow, no. So they
Sure. Yeah. Again, pitching a family dentistry right now,
you're not gonna get it.
it's
You're not gonna get
may not
them.
get that final up. I won't
No.
get that follow-up.
So they do find that Attila is alive here. Is he's either drunk or drugged, but he's unconscious. And
For
he's
2
caked in blood
days?
with cuts to his wrists and neck. This
Okay.
was 2 days after, yeah, but, like, he hadn't been there when they last checked.
You're right.
He's got, yeah, wrist cuts, neck cuts. He also has an X-Acto knife stuck in his arm and another stuck in a butt cheek.
Oh, there's some freaky
What have you
shit.
been doing,
There's
Attila?
some freaky, freaky,
It's
freaky
some freaky
stuff.
shit. Something
They've been looking on
shitty's happening
Craigslist.
here.
Oh my god.
So he's taken to the hospital, he's treated, and police are like, How the hell did he get his way back into the apartment? Because there's swarms of cops, detectives, looky-loos. Since the killings, everybody's there. How did he get back in?
Yeah.
So at the apartment,
Right.
police are like, okay, we're going to go through this with a fine-tooth comb this time. They do find a tiny detail that they had missed before. Underneath the bloody sheets on the divan bed, they notice a thin cut along the side of it, of the base of the bed. So they pull it open and they find a space big enough for a person to fit. And they realize that Attila had been hiding in the bed the whole time. In the freaking bed. I
So
know.
so while they were doing like all this forensic stuff to the body and like he was hiding under
He
it the whole time.
was hiding inside of it. Yes. Like, it's creepy. So yeah, this is the same bed that Tiber's body had been discovered on. And Attila had cut tiny peepholes to watch the investigation go on. Creepy, right?
He's ballsy.
He's
Yeah, it's
ballsy.
creepy.
And he'd collected a little survival kit of sorts to keep himself comfortable in his little hiding place. He had water bottles, he had a knife, and his phone with him in the divan. So they were right that the phone was pinging from the hotel.
The phone was there.
It was there.
The phone was there. Okay.
So after he's treated, he's arrested and questioned, and he refuses to utter one word. So police are unsure if he's just being a dick or if his mental state is causing his muteness. Like, is your brain okay? They don't know. So they wonder if he's had a complete mental break. Did he kill his friends from that? Or is his mind far
Or did
away?
he kill them and then have the mental break? Like, I can't believe I did that. Yeah.
And this dude, he sticks to his silence for like several weeks. Like, he doesn't utter a word. But then he opens the floodgates and tells police everything eventually. He says that celebration party for Tibor was his last chance to try to convince Tibor to be with him. So he said he had brought poppers to the party in hopes of loosening inhibitions.
Now, wait a second.
Okay.
Yeah, explain what a popper is.
Yeah. And I didn't know prior to this because I'm not that hard of a partier, but poppers are commonly used in sexual trysts to help create euphoria and enhance sexuality. And I know for a lot of gay men, it also helps open the anal area, starts to loosen as well. Yeah.
Endorsements be gone.
He did say, Attila said, that they started to engage in a threesome, but that he remembered nothing else. Attila remembers nothing else. He claims he woke up the next morning to this bloody scene and realized that he must have done it, but he swears he has no memory of it. So he told how he had run a bath. He'd run a bath that next morning, planning to kill himself by slitting his wrists. So he had brought Tiber's body into the bath with him because he didn't want to die alone.
Oh, poor T-Bird. He was just trying to live his life in America and go to college, and he met some chick and they had a threesome, and he was probably like, America's the best place ever. And then
except it was London, but yes.
Oh, sorry, London, but it's, it could be America too.
We get it. It could be. Yeah. And so remember how like the blood on Tibor was kind of diluted? That's why, because he did give him a bath. So when the attempts to cut his wrists failed for Attila, because it probably hurt, he tries plugging in a hairdryer, turning it on and dropping in the bath with him. But the hairdryer just continues to work underwater.
That would be me. I live my whole life in terrible fear of these kinds of things. And then that would be me. I'd drop it and be like, you gotta be shitting me. All these years since I was a kid, I thought that's the end of it. Now
it's a bubble bath.
So it didn't shock him at all? In a way, I gotta feel this dude just keeps trying and he can't get the job done.
I found it so hilarious, but I also think it has to do with electronics in Europe are so different than ours here. So I think that's an American.
So what Kelly is saying is don't do that. Because
I think in America it might work.
Yeah.
He cleans up Tibor's body, places him on the bed, and then he gets into the bottom of the divan bed. So after the police and forensics units left the
Okay.
apartment, he crawled out and then he tried to slit his throat and stab himself with X-Acto knives. I'm sorry, it's not funny, but for some reason, I just think it's hilarious. The thought of the X-Acto knife in the butt.
But, like, in
Like,
his thigh?
yeah, I think he was
Oh,
trying for
yeah, it was in
different
his
spots.
butt, wasn't it?
I think that one was like he had rolled over it, like fallen asleep and probably rolled onto it and it stuck into his butt. I don't know, but
Okay.
that was my
I've
thought.
never heard of anyone getting stabbed in the ass to death with an X-Acto knife.
X-Acto, they're the
Ow!
tiniest
See,
little
but I am this
blades.
person too.
Oh,
I
where you
would
would put it in your
be
butt?
one of those people that would be like, "Well, no, I wouldn't put it in my butt, Kelly." Ugh, keep going.
Okay, yeah. So
Oh,
Attila, he's charged with murder, but he wanted only to plead guilty to manslaughter on the basis of diminished responsibility, saying that he had accepted that he'd killed them, but that he had no memory of it. So he wanted to claim some break in his sanity that caused him to actually kill them. So,
which is kind
uh,
of scary that someone could use that defense and just say, I mean, because we hear about it all the time with like a crime of passion where
mhm,
people say they just, they kind of black out and it sounds like Attila, this is what he's saying happened. But that's scary that anyone could really come up with something and be like,
mhm.
damn it, I blacked out and killed him. Dang it.
Yeah,
And
damn it.
that's that's a
Yeah,
little
well,
frightening.
it is, but he does end up standing trial on July 9th of 2012, and prosecutors say that he was obsessed with Tibor and that when the drinking and drug-fueled party didn't lead to Tibor having this life-changing sexual encounter with him, Attila snapped. Like, he's like, "Ah, you didn't become gay." So he's got this
And then
jealousy
he
and
had
yeah.
anger,
Y
and then he
Yes,
stabs the
and
girl
then
because he's
yeah.
so angry.
He's so angry. He's like, "How
Oh,
dare you love each other, but not me?" And he has this rage killing. So his defense argues that he had suffered a mental breakdown that even and they even had Attila take the stand in his own defense. So he winds up bursting into tears, telling the jury there's no way he would do something like this to his best friends had he been in his right mind. However, his testimony came off more like an over the top theatrical performance and it just wasn't believable. So it was like bad, apparently. This is why
yeah.
you don't testify in
It
your own
didn't go.
defense.
I didn't know that, and I have heard that from so many people, and in the past, like, few months, not that that's a problem and I have to testify in anything, but, people always say, and I didn't know that. I would be one of those people that's like, I will tell my story, who do I talk to? And
Right. I want
then
to prove myself.
everyone
Right.
says, like, all lawyers say, "Don't do it. You're gonna
Yeah.
screw
You have the
yourself."
right to,
Yeah.
but yeah, it often doesn't work. So the prosecution argued that since he had the presence of mind to create a bunker in a divan, it showed he had the awareness to make a plan to hide until he could figure out how to get away. So obviously, he didn't
Oh,
lose his mind. So on July
yeah,
18th
that's a
of 12,
crafty plan.
that's a craft. I mean, to come up with hiding and that it almost worked, except he had no way out. But
He was
on
hungry.
he was like, "I gotta get out and get more water. Some of that alcohol's out there still." They didn't take it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so on July 18th of 2012, after just 5 hours of deliberation, Attila's found guilty of the murders of Alice and Tibor, and he's sentenced to a minimum of 26 years in jail, and he'll be considered for release when he's 57 years old, so he'll still be able to have a life, actually.
See, and that's so young. I guess I
Yeah,
just don't understand the judicial system, but I'm like,
I
eye
know.
for an eye, and if anything, you just
Mhm.
leave the guy in prison for the rest of
Yeah,
his life. The fact that he can, and I guess the older that I get, which I'm only 41, but I feel like when I turned 40, I started thinking about stuff like 57 is not old.
no, you still
That's like
have yeah,
you can have, yeah, you can go on and meet someone on some website and live a happy life together from
yeah.
50. have 30 or 40 years if you're lucky.
Right,
These
right.
people
So,
died. They never get to have fun again.
yeah, he took away this whole great future for both of these kids. Had so much, I call them kids. They were young adults. Had so much future ahead of him, and then he gets to get out when he's 57 years old. But maybe that's just parole. But yeah. So he almost made it work. He almost got away with it, except he had nowhere to go. Not a good plan, but that freaked me out. The thought of someone sitting there under a bed, watching everything in a
Yeah.
bed,
Well,
I should say.
I mean, growing up, I myself don't like to dangle my feet off the bed
Yeah,
because
the
of things like
monster.
this, and the monster was the guy's roommate who was probably laying in that little area just like,
I
while the guy was
know.
sleeping and then
Oh,
eventually like, oh, I feel like if somebody made a bed out of under my bed, I'd be like, she doesn't do anything exciting.
she's the
There is
most boring.
nothing that is
There's
hot that is turning me on. This is just
so
boring.
much farting, so much not sleeping.
Well, I
It's
was
just,
thinking more reality television, but yes, Kelly, fine. Go there.
I know what you do.
Um,
I have a hole in
wow.
your
So
bed.
that's the story.
That is the story of the Devon bed. I just thought it was good and creepy for this time of season.
I love it. I'd
All
like to
right.
thank you. You really stepped up in the month of October and you brought the beast in, and
I
it
brought the
is
good ones.
intense.
It's
You got some good
intense.
ones, but I literally love every episode of your podcast. And so
Oh,
again,
thank you.
please, if you're listening down, it's called ODFM, 1D for murder. It's on the platform.
Mhm.
I hadn't gotten there yet. Thank you, Kelly, so much. And we will see you next Monday for Murder
I will be
Monday.
here. Bye.
Deal. Bye. Don't get sick again, damn it.
God, I know.